Hey DIYers, today I will be demonstrating the application process for our white glass countertop paint kit. If you're ready to transform the entire look of your kitchen, grab a kit and let's get started. Everything you need to transform your old countertops into the look of white glass is included in the kit. You will also want these additional household items within reach. You can expect this process to take you a full weekend, and if you have any questions throughout, we're here to help. You can reach us by phone, chat, or email. Before you start your project, make sure you watch this entire video and read through the included instructions and quick start guide, as they are meant to complement each other. It is also important that you measure your countertops beforehand to make sure you have the correct amount of product for your space. Refer to the included quick start guide for more information. This step is critical in making sure the epoxy top coat cures correctly. To begin your prep, no sanding is required for a typical Formica or laminate countertop. Just thoroughly clean your countertops with an SOS or Brillo pad to remove any dirt and grease from the surface. Then rinse and remove the cleaner with water because any remaining residue could keep the paint from adhering. Use a high-quality painter's tape like frog tape to protect surfaces around your workspace from accidental contact with the paint materials. Tape 2 rows on the walls above your backsplash and 1 strip around the rim of your sink and cooktop if you have one. Use the included tarps to protect your cabinets, appliances, and floor. Use small pieces of tape to hold the tarps in place and run long pieces of tape along the underside of the countertops. This will help remove any drips before they harden. Then, trim pieces from the provided tarp to use as covers for the sink, faucet, and any appliances above your countertops. Now you're ready to apply the white primer. You'll need 2 coats to cover most surfaces, but with darker colored surfaces you may need a third. If you have a connected backsplash, start here. First, edge in the top and bottom with a 2-inch foam brush. Continue around the corners and edges and use the fabric roller to fill in the rest. For the best coverage, edge in 2 to 3 foot sections at a time. Then immediately roll that section so your brush strokes blend in with the rolled areas. Allow the first coat to dry for at least an hour. It may appear streaky or uneven, but you will obtain full coverage after the second coat. Repeat the same process and dry time for your second coat of white primer. Now you're ready to apply the top coat. Giani white glass comes with 3 sets of epoxy, and each set is made up of 2 parts, a liquid activator and a liquid resin. Each set covers a 6-foot section of countertop. To mix your first set, pour an entire can of activator into a can of resin, making sure to empty all of the contents. Next, thoroughly stir the mixture for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, making sure to scrape the sides and bottom of the can. You want to mix quickly, but keep from splashing any of the contents out of the container. When you finish stirring, immediately pour the entire mixture onto the first section of your countertops. It helps to pour the mixture in 3 streams to ensure even coverage. Start by pouring 1 stream at the base of your backsplash, one in the center of your countertops and one close to the edge. If you have an object within your 6-foot section, such as a sink, simply use the proportionate amount for one side of the sink and continue on the opposite side until the entire mixture has been used. Within the same section, use an included 2-inch angle brush and transfer some of the epoxy mixture to your attached backsplash, gently coating it as you brush along your 6-foot section. Continue cutting in the edges of your section with some of the remaining mixture on your countertops. Next, use the foam roller to evenly distribute the epoxy over the surface in your section. Since the epoxy is self-leveling, try not to overwork your application. It helps to hold the handle gently between your fingers and thumb and lightly push the epoxy over the countertops. This will keep you from gripping the handle too tight and applying too much pressure. Too much pressure can spread the epoxy mixture too thin and cause defects in the cured finish. To make sure they are fully coated, allow epoxy to run off the edges onto the tarps, then lightly roll them. You want a good layer of epoxy on your edges since they experience the most wear and friction. After you've covered your first section, mix a second set of epoxy and continue onto your next section, blending the two sections together to avoid creating a seam. Continue the same process until your entire countertop is coated. Remember, one set of epoxy only covers 12 square feet or 6 running feet of standard countertops. Extending it further will result in imperfections. Once you've rolled on your top coat, do not add more unless you find bare spots. Doing so can create unwanted blemishes in your finish. If your remaining section of countertop is less than 6 feet, use the appropriate amount of epoxy to cover the area. For instance, if your final section is 3 feet, mix the last full set of epoxy and only use half. Remember to gently guide the epoxy over your surface rather than rolling it on. Keep in mind, if you hear any stickiness while applying the epoxy, it is too thin in that area and it will not cure properly. Please read the Epoxy Quick Start Guide for all of our helpful tips and tricks. Once you've finished applying your epoxy, grab a bright light and closely inspect your countertops for bare spots, bubbles, and lint. To fix a small bare spot, use a 2-inch brush to drizzle a small amount of epoxy onto the spot and then dab lightly. For air bubbles or lint, use tweezers to gently pop the bubbles or pull out the piece of lint. Just make sure not to use the tweezers after an hour. Slowly and carefully remove the painter's tape between 1 and 2 hours after applying the epoxy. If you peel it off too early, the finish will run under the taped areas. If you peel it off too late, the tape will become cemented to your countertops. After those first 2 days, refrain from setting anything heavy on your countertops. Heavy objects can leave impressions in the epoxy. When caring for your new countertops, we recommend using our specially formulated Giani Countertop Cleaner. You can also read our written instructions to see other cleaners that may be used, as harsh chemicals can dull or damage the finish. Just like you would with any countertop, always use a cutting surface when preparing food and a hot pad or protective barrier when placing hot objects on your counters. Treating your countertops with the proper care will help maintain the shine, durability, and beauty. We hope you love your new countertops. Don't forget to follow us on social media and check out our website for additional resources. Thanks for watching!